Hey, everybody. This is Gimbalabs Playground. It's the 23rd of January, 2024. We get together every Tuesday at 1800 UTC. Hey, Alex, to talk ideas. And today we have a presentation from the Andamio team. There's a lot of overlap between Gimbalabs and Andamio, and we're really excited to take a little technical deep dive into this work. Before we do, I wanted to do a quick share about Gimbalabs Playground, just in case anybody's watching this video later and is wondering what's going on. This is a Miro board, and I'll share the link in the chat right here. It's a public board that anybody can access and edit anytime. These big green arrows are new to me. Thank you to whoever added those. Beautiful. And you can also learn about Playground at gimbalabs.com/playground. What do we do? Well, we get together for 90 minutes on Tuesdays to talk about products we're building, to share ideas and ask for feedback, or to start conversations about things we've been thinking about. And it's often a combination of all of the above. Today, it certainly will be. We'd like to share an update about the work we're doing on Andamio. We have some ideas that we need some feedback on, and I think there's going to be plenty of room for conversation today. So looking forward to jumping in. If you want to participate in this structure and give a playground presentation, all you need to do is head over to this Miro board. Once again, the link is at gimbalabs.com/playground. And then if you open up this board, you'll see that there's a sign-up sheet. It started back in September of 2023. And it continues through the end of the school year, at least here in the Northern Hemisphere. And you can see over the next few weeks, we have a few exciting presentations. We've got Mesh PBL coming up next week, the Marlowe team from IOG on February 6th, and Alex with Terex on February 13th. But you can see that February 27th and beyond, there's nobody has booked those slots yet. So if you got an idea and want to present, here's a space to do it. Does anybody have questions about playground logistics before we jump into the main event? Right. Cool. I'm just going to switch screens here. So we're here to talk about Andamio today. And in order to start, I just wanted to give a quick update as to where we are starting from. Okay, so back in March of 2023, we launched the most recent iteration of the Plutus project-based learning course. This is a course that helps developers onboard to the Cardano ecosystem. And you can see a list of oh, that link is broken. That's funny. Well, that's news to me. There's a broken link at the top of that page, but we'll fix that. Yeah, those links just stopped working. Well, that's kind of good because this course is actually not live right now. Okay, we retired it in December at the end of 2023, and we're currently working on building the newest iteration of the course. It'll be called Plutus PBL 2024. And there's a few things that might happen. You can look at the course outline right here, and you can see the names of the modules. The truth is we didn't even deliver all of these modules. There's some stuff that we thought we might get to, and we didn't quite. But a lot of the stuff here, the content is written, and anybody can still navigate this content. The way this course works is there's a series of modules. You can see those titles here. And you can see the learning targets for each module if you click into any one. And then students work through a series of lessons about those learning targets. So for example, this is called module number 202. The title of the module is 5 ways to mint a token. And then there's 5 learning targets to accompany each of those methods. You can mint them with Game Changer, you can mint them with Cardano CLI, and so forth. Now, anytime we create learning content, it needs to be kept up to date. This is hard work. It's hard work to write these lessons in the first place. Often they're accompanied by videos. Those take time to create. But then even once a lesson is written for the first time, keeping it up to date is also time-consuming work. It takes dedicated effort, okay? So today, we want to look at Andamio from 2 perspectives. One, by recognizing something that we've looked at in earlier, I'm sorry, my do not disturb is not on. One, we've talked about this concept of learning targets in prior Andamio showcases, okay? And the basic idea is that anytime we're trying to teach anything, we should first write a learning target that shows why we are teaching a lesson. Then, with a platform that allows people to learn by demonstrating mastery of different learning targets, we also want to create a way to for those learners to become contributors. Now, there's something that's really interesting right here. One of the most important things we want to help people contribute to is the ongoing maintenance of this learning content, right? Anybody who worked through this course in 2023 might be really well prepared to become a contributor to maintenance, revision, and the creation of new lesson content, okay? But how do we incentivize that contribution and how do we track it? That's what we're building Andamio to do, right? Not just to give people a way to learn, but also a way to start contributing. And so I'm going to hand it off to Nelson in just a moment to take us on a nice preview tour of the contributor platform that is just about ready to go live. But before I do, there was one question we were talking about before this session went live. We were talking about what makes a good learning target, okay? And I want to give one answer to that question. One thing that makes a good learning target is that it's got a specific verb, right? What's the thing that students are going to do? And it should be measurable, right? So look at this one, for example. This learning target says, I can mint native assets. What's the verb? Mint, right? As a dev, I know how to do this thing. Is it measurable? Well, actually, in this case, it is, right? If you minted a native asset, there should be an on-chain record that that happened. So actually, these are the kind of easy ones, right? Anything technical is often quite measurable. And with a little bit of attention, we can put a strong verb. Now, this unit's kind of boring because the verb is the same for all 5 learning targets, but that's in the title of the module, right? 5 ways to mint. But if we look at some other modules, we can start to complete this picture. I can connect, get, I know how. More on this one in just a minute. And there's that word mint again, right? Look at these 4 learning targets. This one, that's measurable, right? Can somebody see their information in a wallet? Can they get, right? Is there a transaction on chain that they got some test data from the faucet? I think these are pretty good learning targets because they're measurable. But this one, I'm not so sure about. Can I measure it? Nelson, is there anything you can do that can show me that you definitely know how to safely store your keys?
I'm not sure if I'm keeping my keys right safely.
And this is the funny part, right? Well, you know what? Even though I can't know for sure if you do know how to do this, it's easy to tell if somebody doesn't. Okay, so sometimes all we can measure for is the negative case, right? But this is something to think about, right? When we're thinking about what makes a good learning target and how can they be improved, we're always looking for strong verbs. What's the thing the student's going to do? And ideally, these learning targets are measurable. Why is this relevant to us right now? Well, as we start to move from PPBL 2023 to the latest iteration of the course, before we write a single lesson, first thing we have to do is review this list of modules and review the learning targets for each one. We have to decide if we're satisfied with those learning targets and whether or not there are other topics we want to teach. And then once collectively we agree that that is the list of learning targets for PPBL 2024, only then can we start to write lessons. Once again, all of this is contribution. All of this is work. And in a perfect world, people would be getting paid fair market value for all of this work. We're moving towards that ideal, okay? Little by little. And we've built a system to start to help incentivize and reward people for contributing to a project like this, right? The writing or the maintenance of a course. So with just that little bit of background knowledge and this coming attraction, right now at plutuspbl.io, it's still last year's version of the course. But soon we will deploy a draft of PPBL 2024. And if anybody who's interested is going to be invited to contribute to that work. And that's what's going to help us prepare the next iteration of the course. But that's just background knowledge. We've talked about the course before. I'm really excited to jump into the contribution part and how we're thinking about that works on chain. So any questions about what I just shared from the course perspective? All right, let's jump to the main event. My friend Nelson is here to take us on a demo of the contribution platform. And let's see what we can learn together. Nelson, hey.
Hey guys. So yeah, it's not much really, I hope so. So today we're going to take a look at how we can build an Andamio app, a glimpse of how we can start to build an Andamio application, web application to be specific. So for a start, we are building a JavaScript library. We're calling it AndamioJS, which is going to interact with the Cardano on-chain validator. So the Andamio logic that is embedded in the Cardano blockchain, it's there in the blockchain, but how do we interact with the web application, with the user interface? So to help that work, we're trying to build a library, AndamioJS, and it's going to handle all the communication between your application and the on-chain Andamio logic. So the documentation of that is there in andamiojs.andamio.io. Here. So this is not perfect yet, I guess. So it's work in progress. So it's going to change really frequently. It's going to get better. So that's what we are aiming towards, that what's we're working towards. So for today's work, we're going to take a look at Andamio config with that just in a second. And then we're going to add funds to a treasury. We're going to check the funds. We're going to create a project. We're going to mint the contributor token. We're going to commit to a project. We'll look at all of this in detail. So for the first thing, there's going to be some prerequisites. So the first thing is we're going to assume prerequisites is that we have the Andamio on-chain contracts, Andamio on-chain deployed in the Cardano blockchain. What that means in terms of what we're going to use now is that we have we have a configuration that we are calling Andamio config. And then for this deployed on-chain Andamio, we have an admin token. Okay, so on the first point, just a little bit, we're going to keep it really simple and try to keep most of the things aside and just keep it really simple, plain and simple. So we're going to take a look at Treasury. So we have a Treasury that's deployed on chain, and we have an escrow. So Treasury holds certain amount of funds and a list of projects that contributors can contribute to, which will be held in the escrow when in commitment, and then it gets distributed from the escrow, guys. So let me go here. Here I have set up two profiles, admin and Dave. Today, Dave is going to be the contributor and the admin is here. So for the instance that I'm going to use that's deployed, I have the admin token, and so this is going to, so we have the admin token, and we'll look at this Andamio config in just a second, and then, yeah. So this is the overview of what we're going to go through. Let's get started. I am going to bootstrap with a starter template. For that, I'm going to use the mesh starter. And they have really nice starters here, mesh.js.deb starter templates. I'm going to use the simple one, starter next.js TypeScript. So I'm going to copy this. I'm going to start new VS Code Windows. Yeah, so I'm in my root directory and I'm going to paste that command from the mesh. Paste. Okay, so I'm going to name the app demo, and this will create a starter template from mesh.
I just want to say that you are courageous doing this in front, live. I'm very hopeful that it succeeds.
Oh yeah, I hope so too.
You feel confident though. You look super confident. You're like, oh yeah, I got this. No worries. Okay.
Yeah, I've tried this a couple of times, so like this has been our work so most of the time. So
He was
yeah, okay.
he
So
was
let's yeah, it's loaded.
he,
The
he
starter
was
is
not
loaded.
nervous.
Okay. Um, so I'm going to open demo right here. Open the terminal again. Here, so if you've used Next.js before then, and I'm going to use Yarn for now. So Yarn dev. And this here, we'll be able to see the mesh starter. Is here. There we go. This is the mess.
Hey,
And
all
then,
right.
yeah. And I think it's pretty nice. I think Jingles wrote this. I'm going to disappoint him a little bit by deleting most of the stuff. So when you go to the pages index, this is all the stuff that you're seeing in the browser. Let's do this. Yeah, I'm going to delete everything, I guess. I'm going to leave the Cardano wallet because we're going to use it. And it looks like this. So here comes the part for the Andamio config. So I'm going to steal Andamio config that's already deployed, which we are using right now, Andamio.io. It's a pre-production instance, so we're not actually advertising it just yet. It's used here. So I'm going to borrow that Andamio config. So I'm going to copy it from my local folder. Just paste it here. Yeah, so we have this Andamio folder here now, and it has a couple of data. We have the configuration here, and we'll take a look at it in just a second. Okay. So let's stringify the config and see what it looks like. It will show you a lot of data, but we're going to navigate through it and filter out things we only want. Actually, we're not even going to filter the data and use it separately, but we're going to use it as a whole. But for now, you can find Andamio config here. This is just for JSON, no replacer, and this no space. Save, boom. So this is what the Andamio config looks like. It's a lot, and it can be minimal, or it's even this is going to, this might change, and we haven't actually made public of how to deploy a instance and get the Andamio config, but that will be coming pretty soon, I guess. Yeah, that will be coming pretty soon. So don't worry about this just yet. Just we're going to look into how we're going to use this to build an app. So no worries. We'll get to it pretty soon. If I go here and write config, then Treasury, then I'll see a couple of things that is related only to the Treasury. So we have the Treasury address, CBOR, and some reference UTXOs. So at least you can see that address of the Treasury. So we have the Treasury, that is this address, and we can even take a look at one escrow. So this is one escrow, the address. We're calling it Andamio circle. It's a name reference. And we have a couple of other things. So that's a glimpse of the Andamio config. And yeah, you don't have to worry about it anymore. Just looking at it, just to see how it looks like. I'm gonna comment it out and start with the next thing. So progress done. We're going to try to add some funds to this treasury. And when I borrowed the Andamio config, I said that it's the one that is hosted in andamio.io. So we already have some tokens here. We have some project tokens that we are using, like test symbols here. And we have some ADA. Let's try adding 100 ADA and 100 gimbals more. So this will change. Yeah, let's try to do that. And here is where we will look at AndamioJS. I'm going to open this here instead. And okay, so I have to do a couple of things before. I'm going to stop this server for now. And for the mesh template, mesh starter I've used, it is a little bit old, so a little bit out of date. So I'm going to install the latest mesh core and mesh react. So yarn add mesh SDK for react.
So you're just updating, Nelson, you're just updating the package from what you downloaded from the starter. You're like, okay, we need a newer thing because it works better or something.
Yes, it has been updated so that there are some core functionalities that have updated since the starter was written. So the starter was written a long time ago when Mesh launched, and they have hard-coded the version in the starter. So they're not, when you download the starter, you're not using the latest Mesh.
Right.
So I'm just updating it to the latest Mesh library.
That's great. Thanks.
Yeah, we have that. Now on top of it, we're going to install our library. Right. Let's do that. Yarn add AndamioJS for, and yeah, for npm install. So you have the thing right here. Install, and you will see AndamioJS popped up here once it's installed. So we have just pushed to version 1 alpha. And there's a little note. This starter is the Next.js that uses what's called the old pages router. And there's a newer app router. And for that specific one, Mesh has a specific version that works with it. So we have a little note here to facilitate for that, but just don't worry about it much. If you're using the app router, you better use this version and that specific mesh version. But yeah, we're not going to worry about it, right? So we have AndamioJS installed in our application. Let's run yarn dev again. Just refresh it, and it's the same thing with just keeping the wallet, browser wallet. And what we're going to do was to add funds to the treasury. So it's a transaction. So here, there's a part about querying data and there's about transactions. So these are the main things that are right now easy, like we have implemented to make it easy to use these ones. But there are utilities behind AndamioJS that comes handy in a lot of places. So we haven't actually documented it that properly, but it's there. I hope we will improve this documentation. But for now, transactions, we have we have made some really helpful functions to help create transactions. So we're keeping the prefix prepare, then the transaction name for those things. So we're going to add funds to the treasury. So let's search of that specific transaction. Prepare is the suffix that we're giving to these transactions. And then we're going to fund a new UTXO to the treasury. This prepare fund new UTXOs is what we are looking for right now. And here's how you implement it. Here's an example. So I'm going to create a button here. Let's just say fund transaction. And on clicking that button, let's see if the button pops up. It should come up here. Yeah, not that beautiful, but it's there. And let's create a function. Actually, it should be an asynchronous function because we're going to wait for the data to come in. Sync function, let's say fun ex. And what goes in here? I'm going to copy this example. That's exactly what we're going to use here. So, and this is the function. If we use the auto import from just the VS Code, then get it here, import it. Boom, it's gone. And this wallet is the mesh browser wallet. So we're going to get it. And for that, const wallet. And this is use wallet. Let's read it. Okay, so we have the wallet. And what does this take? It takes a wallet, this browser wallet, we have it. Andamio config, we imported it there. We copy paste it. Andamio ADA amount, it's a number. So number of amount, I'm going to keep just 100. The project token amount, it's the gimbals that we're using for this instance of Andamio. So I think I have put 100 in my wallet. So just I have 100 test gimbals wallet. So yeah. So the first line, prepare, what it does, when you try to build a transaction in Cardano CLI, you gather data from everywhere, every places. You query the blockchain and you find the UTXOs, you input those text that TX has, you put in collateral TXS, you put in the treasury addresses, all that stuff. This is where the gathering of the data happens. And then in this line, it builds the transactions, signs, and submit it. So it's built in AndamioJS. So let's try it. On click of this button, trigger this function. Yes. Save. Should load. And I am in this admin profile, which has the admin token, which is a requirement for the transaction. I have 100 ADA. I have some gimbals, 100 gimbals. Connect. Trigger the transaction. And this is the details, right? It's taking in 100 ADA and some fees and 100 gimbals. Let's sign it. It's and yeah, it's a success. This is the TX hash. So this should be reflected in andamio.io because it's the same instance, but let's try to see it here. That's where querying data comes. We're going to query the data from the treasury and see if it gets updated. So we are going to query the treasury. Let's search for DIY query, and we have this query treasury info. This one is what we are searching for. Slip into it, and it's this one line. So in the Next.js, they don't allow asynchronous functions to just fetch data while loading the home page. So they have a special function for that. Async. Static props. I think that is it. Yeah. Static props, and nothing goes in here. And here we're going to return props, and whatever returns here, we can import it here to display it in our website. So I'm going to copy this. We're going to query the treasury. I'm going to query it here. Import this. Return this. And that static props gets loaded. Passes through here. Okay, it's a type error. And it returns a type that says treasury info. We can take a look at it, but we can also display it and we'll see it's the same thing. So import this type from AndamioJS core. And there we have. So it gets loaded to our home page, and we're going to display it here, similarly to how we have displayed the Andamio config. Stringify the contents, the object that was passed. Treasury info. Let's see. Okay. So again, this is a lot of data, and we can filter out to make sense of it. So if I do total Lovelace, then I'll only see how much Lovelace is there in the treasury. And it's this. I think it was 460 ADA before. And now we have 100 more, right? So if we refresh it, it should also reflect here. But this is deployed in the Vercel, and the Vercel caches the info, and it takes a little bit of time to refresh it. So yeah, comes here, 60 and 100 more gimbals. So if you look at the code we have used for funding the transaction, we have hard-coded this value, Andamio, the amount of ADA and amount of tokens. But with a little bit of UI magic, it might look like, let's connect to a wallet. It might look like this. Or you can even make it better. So this is just for the demo. We are hard coding it here, and this exact thing is what is being used in here, but we're just filling a form and just triggering the transaction. So you can even make it better, I guess. Yeah, so any questions? I think we are done with this. We are done with even this. Yeah. If not, let's create a project and...
Ooh, lost sound for a second there, Nelson. Is the next step to actually create a project?
Yes, we are going to create one project that will go to the Treasury.
Is there any other data worth looking at in the Treasury info?
Yes, I'm trying to keep it as minimal as possible.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
cool.
of course, there's everything, right? And we're going to see that the Treasury is where the projects that a contributor can come and commit to, those projects are held. They are in a datum in a UTXO in the Treasury. So look at data here. I think this is where the projects are held. Yeah, we have 3 projects already. And we're going to try to add one more. So yeah, let's go ahead and do that. Let's create a project. Again, it's a transaction. Query. Prepare. Yeah, it's a transaction. Prepare, add new project transaction, right? Again, an example is given here. That is exactly the thing that we're going to use. For that, I'm going to create a button again and add project. Project. Wait. Let's create a function again. just simply copy all of this code here and import this. Go. Okay. Right. So yeah, here on click, just going to do this create project function. Create project. And let's see what it takes here now. So we have the wallet and we have the Andamio config. Then there's a project that we have not defined. What is the project? The project has the data type of project data, which is a custom type that's in Andamio. So this is what we're going to pass to create a project. Let's look at that in detail. Const project, so that's what we're defining. And it's simply this. And when a contributor comes and commit to the project, it will assign a contributor asset, which contributor is committed to doing that project. So this is not required as of yet to remove it. We're not going to worry much about the contract token right now. What it does is it points to the escrow that is going the one that the project is going to be committed to. So what that means is our Andamio app can handle multiple escrows. So this is going to point to which escrow it goes. So we're going to simply choose one escrow for now. Not going to worry about that. Don't worry about it. Let's start with project has ID. This is going to be the hash of the project title. If we see in Andamio.io list of projects, we should see the 3 projects that we saw there, and it looks something like this. Okay, so this in hex format is what is being passed through here in project has ID. So let's create one hex, just a name. Let's just use an online tool and say demo project. And this is the hex of it. Just copy it to assign it here as a string. There we go. Expiration date, Cardano handles it with, what is it again? I forgot the name. POSIX time. Okay, yeah, I forgot it for a second. So yeah, it takes in the expiration date, and if no one commits till that time, okay, then the admin can remove that project. Okay. Yeah. So let's try. Human did the timestamp. Yeah, right. Here, let's just choose something. 33. Let's find. Let's write 30, and just insert this. Here.
Make sure to grab the milliseconds.
Okay. Here, it's a number. And Lovelace. How many Lovelace will be assigned to this project? So let's say 50 ADA. That's the amount of Lovelace. And project amount, let's say 20. Right. And for this, I'm going to point it to one specific escrow, and I can find it in the Andamio config itself. I'm just get make the policy ID, but tokens. Big. Where's going to be the then so yeah, don't worry about this. This is basically pointing to one specific escrow. So I'm concatenating the policy ID and the contract name that's specific to the escrow just to provide that part. And we're going to see this in an interactive way, so that's really fun. So we've created a project, and I think we're done. You can try this. And for this transaction, also the admin is required. So I should be having admin back after adding the funds. I should have returned. I should have got my admin token back. So that project. Okay. Project wallet. Yeah, I don't know why this is happening, but you get the idea. Let me debug that asynchronously, not in this live session, but I'll handle that. But this is how it works, right? This is how the flow goes. This is how you create the project. And I'm hard coding these values right here. Take a look at what are those. But a really fun way to interactively implement this would look like something like this, right? So what I did there with the contract token, it's pointing to an escrow, and I'm just choosing it as a drop-down menu, and I can choose to any escrows. So it handles multiple escrow. That's why there are multiple ones. And here you can just type the demo project, and it automatically converts to hex. And this is for debugging purpose. This shouldn't be visible in the production, but yeah, that's what happens in the back. And all these utilities are built in AndamioJS inside. So it really comes in handy. And here even you can type in date and it converts to project's time. ADA converts to Lovelace token. And this is some additional feature that we are testing out, and then commit to project. Let's see. This is that's too much. Right? Yeah, let's okay. I'm holding it.
Is that what
in
the error was on the testing one?
Yes. I didn't have the admin, right? That's why it was supposed to come up. Admin token not found. Yeah, here let's add a project. Demo project, expiration date 024 01 30 50 20 confirm. And transaction successful. So we should be able to see a new project here, and it should also have been reflected here. Yeah, let me comment out this. I think it should look good. So now it's 4. And this data is with using AI magic. It's represented like this. So this is the front end task. So however you want to implement this, however you want to show this data, that's up to you. Yeah, so that's there. Create a project. Similarly, it's the same process, right? Yeah, let's just go through this too, and we'll see what other things we can do if there's any time remaining. Yeah, quickly create a button. It says mint contributor. And create a function again. Mint. Okay, so let's again see AndamioJS docs. And again, it's a transaction. Repair mint. Repair mint contributor token. We have it here. Paste. Import. Token alias is going to be the name. Yeah, I think this is also in hex, right? Yeah. Yeah, it's in hex. So demo Dave. We have named it Dave in the profile, so I'm just calling him Dave. Dave and contributor address. So I'm going to send it to Dave's wallet. Again, you see the pattern. I'm hard coding these values here, but we can see the UI and how you can implement it. You can make it better, right? So you can enter the token alias Dave and the contributor address mint. This is how we can make an interactive app. Yeah, let's try it. This is saved. I'm going to change to the admin wallet because minting a contributor token requires an admin. Mint. In Shot fish. Okay. So yeah, I think room for improvement, I guess.
Your
I think
admin needs some data. Do you want to shoot an address over here? I can give it to you.
sure. Let's do that. Okay. Meanwhile, I will also try to send some. I think I have some extras here, but
Okay.
yeah. Yeah, I love extra data. I can receive more.
You're gonna beat me to it.
So yeah, that should be reflected pretty quickly. Nice. There we go. Why is this happening right now? Okay.
Is that a validation error? There's the app.
Okay. Yeah, let's try it from the front end. I will see. I will. Yeah, that's why we're still in alpha, I guess. Okay. So yeah, bear with us, guys, till we make this a stable one. Yeah, I'm going to. Yeah, I think yes, I'm connected to this one, right? And then mint. Oh man. Dave address. Yeah, I think something happened while I was committing to the changes in the AndamioJS. We'll check that. It's all right. But yeah, that's how the flow goes. You get the idea. So it's pretty simple to create Andamio application with AndamioJS. Okay, so I think we are almost there. So we try to see if we can commit to a project. One more, one last, and then we'll see what we can do. Yeah, let's go to dApp Solid. You should have received that. Hey, we have the dApp NFT contributor asset. And he can now commit to the project that we created. So let's do that one. Commit to the project. One click. X this. And again, it's a transaction, so we should be able to find it here. Prepare commit tx. There we go. Import this. Now the project is the new one. Let's call it select that project. Should be able to change the old one, but I'm going to just define a new one. And this. And it's easy to build this if we have this. So I think this is the one that we defined. I'm just going to copy this and paste here. Oh, right, it's the same thing. Oh, okay. So yeah, yeah, we created from the front end. Okay, so that's why got confused a little bit there. Yeah, so we have the selected one and put the input. So this would be working. We are in Dave's wallet. We will connect to the wallet and he can commit to this project. And this project should disappear from the. Okay. I thought I set up the collateral before. But yes. Commit. Okay. This. Yeah, I think something messed up while I was doing some changes in the AndamioJS. We're going to look at it. But again, let's look at it in the front end. And instead of providing all these things, hard coding this in the code, we can provide it in a more interactive way, right? So these are listed here. You can simply click commit and just commit. So connect to tape solid. Commit. And there we go. Last transaction for today's demo. I'm sorry, guys, that some things didn't work. We were making some changes in the code base and some things got messed up. Yeah, we're going to fix it. But yeah, I think that's it for the most planned part. Anything else you might want to see?
Yeah. That's brilliant, man. Thank you.
Are you parched after that one?
I think I'm oversaturated. Geez. Yeah. Lots of different things to unravel. Okay. So I love the that documentation site. There's some familiar things in there that were great. I haven't really seen anyone use that one, so I'm really curious to dig in. I liked how you used it, meaning that you didn't really mess around with the you use the search function, so it was like, oh yeah, that makes sense. I love that you use the Kanban board during the presentation. I mean, that's yeah, that blew my mind. And then with the back end, because you could have just showed us the front end, but it did sort of put our dev hats on, meaning that the front end is secondary, meaning that AndamioJS as a package that you can pull into a project like that mesh project, and incredible, like just, oh yeah, it's super easy, bang bang bang, done in the first 15 minutes. Yeah, so that was great. And then the live coding part, like pulling it together and showing in a split screen and like going through, like very, very simple, very simple. And then it made the front end much more sense. And finally, a big shout out to all the work that we did together with the Plutus PBL starting in the spring, and I understood all most of that. Like, that wasn't scary. It was, like, that's what we did. And so it's really cool that we'll be able to download this and start creating projects. That's sort of my experience. Anybody else?
I was just thinking, in a couple of years, there's going to be 1,000 versions of that video of people teaching others how to instantiate their own Andamio instance. They're going to be so old, showing Nelson, look, you were the first one ever. We're going to be just tired and cranky, and we're going to have the first video. It's going to be like an NFT or something. The first ever prototype of how to instantiate your own Andamio instance. It's literally, that was it. It's a tutorial. That's what it was. So it was cool. It's so cool.
I'm hoping this work keeps Nelson young for a little while. Let's
I don't think so. I could already see him sweating after he finished. He was like, Jesus. Yeah.
But no sweat during the thing. Now that has to be noted. Like, one, just charged at it. Like, yeah, that was just amazing. I was like, what? Really? Okay. All right. A lot of bravery in there.
Yep. Absolutely. Nerves of steel.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, I hope we will be able to see more beautiful UI UX for Andamio than this. People can come up and build their own user interface, right, to create an Andamio instance. So I hope we see much more beautifuler user interface that people can interact with to use Andamio. So we're trying not to limit it to ourselves, right? We're opening the doors to other people.
Well, with that not limited, because that was one of the things that, like, maxed out my RAM as I was going through there. I like you showed in the UI, you showed the different projects, like the SLT for May of 2025, which is kind of comical, but it seems like it's expansive. Like, once you have these, like, and you explained very well, it's a treasury, it's an escrow, and then it's the member token or the contributor token, and just that sort of protocol or mindset or worldview, then, like, what becomes a treasury, what becomes an escrow, what becomes a project, what becomes, then it is expansive. I think of it as a learning management system, but you know, and I don't know if it's by design, but calling it a contributor platform is also intriguing. You know, it's also sort of, yeah.
Very much by design. We've had several discussions around the wording. Believe you me, contribution platform is a chosen word.
Yeah.
And just to point out, Nelson, who did their homework, if you see the proof projects, see the two of those are mine. Just saying.
Thanks, Roberto. Thank you for that.
All right? That's just saying. I think one of
Nice.
them was even distributed. Someone distributed rewards for one of the ones that I added. I don't know. But it was cool. It was cool adding the links and everything. Everything works. I was thinking, made me think like, how much should I be paid for these projects? Like you see there.
Governance question.
Not too expensive. I'm not too expensive, to be honest. It's okay.
Hey, so talk me through this. So the project, so there's a number. Okay, that makes sense. The project and a name. DAOs Love Cardano milestone achievement report, the escrow, and then the business circle, product circle. What's that?
Those are sneak peeks. Like those are Easter eggs.
Yeah.
Newman, have you heard of a little something called S3?
Yeah. So these are S3 circles or governance circles type of thing.
Yeah. So, right, there's a lot of different ways to think about escrows, but one way is they can be assigned to different circles within an organization.
Okay.
And so when approval of completion of these projects happens, that can be delegated down to the circle level instead of always having to happen at like, you know, an organizational admin level.
Okay. Yeah, and then that sort of gets me into that sort of multi-sig that sort of zone, wallet,
Right.
yeah, and then into governance and like with like projects and funded projects and milestone, like I think one of them, milestone achievement report. Okay. And then the expiration is the ADA and GIM, like those are that's the total in the escrow. Is that what that is? Or, and then what would the commit be?
So here is the list of projects that a contributor is allowed to commit to. So these projects data are held in the Treasury, waiting for a person to come in and say, I'm going to do that.
Interesting. Okay. So yeah, this when you sign in with that Dave, these are David's projects.
These are the organization's project. These are the admin has assigned these projects for people to come in. For example, Dave will come here and say, okay, I'm going to take up this task. I'm going to take up this thing and I'm going to deliver on it. So yeah, Dave can come in and say, I'll commit to this.
I like to think of it as, imagine we need to do the milestone reports and you've gone through a Project Catalyst Andamio PPL course where they taught you to be a proposer. And part of that was learning how to do milestone reports. And so we've put this commitment in our platform where you have that token that you know how to do proposals. You go to the task has all the information that you need, but we're not going to do the report ourselves. We don't have time to do the editing and putting it together and just submitting it. So we're telling you how much this task can pay you, and you have access to it because you know how to be a proposer, for example, or you have whatever skills we think you need to do this task effectively.
Yeah, so you know, like token gating, that kind of like gets into that sort of zone. And then that verb of commit is like like a commit as like a GitHub commit, like I'm like, or is it like I'm making a commitment, like I think we did this with the Plutus PBL where we made the commitment that we kind of locked ADA, or we locked our is that zone sort of?
You know, it's a good play on the idea of a GitHub commit, but it's also where we're distinguishing it from, for example, a bounty, right?
Okay.
So committing versus trying to take on a bounty. A bounty is a race to be first, which brings with it a lot of uncertainty, right? Anybody can post a bounty and say, hey, if you do this thing, you're going to get this reward, right? But how many other people are trying to also be the first to deliver on that bounty? And how many people will spend time but not win the race, right? And that can be a really tough position to be in. So the approach we're taking is let's give people a chance to commit and then calmly deliver on the work that they committed to doing, right? You make a commitment at that point, these ADA and for example, Gimbal rewards are placed in an escrow. And then whoever made that commitment has until a deadline to be the only person working on it. And if they finish it, they get the reward, right? So there's a lot more of a sound guarantee than is possible in a bounty system.
Right. I got you. I got you. Yeah. Commit and yeah. This is interesting. This is sort of expanding sort of my perspective and then thank you for like all those very, very detailed developer, like John said, like a real developer experience and a beautiful, juicy technical demo. And now a chance to sort of, based on that, get some good perspective over it. Because ideally projects, I have a project and we've got a treasury, a funded project in one of these innovation funds. And we choose Andamio to do our contribution tracking. And I sort of thought about it in learning targets, but I mean, is this a shift in, like what it might be used for? Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking. I'm like, oh, okay. Because I was still in this sort of mindset of a learning commitment. Like I'm making it's not a bounty to do a lesson, it's a commitment to do a lesson and to learn something. And then, the Oracle type of function or the validator, like, okay, did you change the datum? Yes, you did. Okay, then then you can be released and your token comes back and etc. Is that sort of tracking?
It's Nelson, do you want to take that one?
Oh, unmute. Yeah, there you go.
Yes, so the answer is yes, right? Like it's tracking, but okay. Can you repeat the question and like how?
Well, it's sort of like in a learning. I was thinking of Andamio and AndamioJS as a learning platform. I want to set up a PBL or I want to do some type of learning experience, and I would download this, put it in my mesh project, and it would put me on Cardano, and people could use tokens and use that ecosystem of things. And the commit is sort of, instead of committing to a project where there's escrow ADA, I'm committing to a student learning target, and that the validator or the certifier or someone says, oh, it's been done, you've completed that, and then you get released your token back or your commitment back. But I can also see that you would, if you had a treasury with ADA, that you could set up projects and it would be sort of like like a contribution and reward treasury management system type of thing.
So okay.
Yeah, and I guess the question is that is that what is the intention? Is it just it's just to be a little more open and not just about learning management systems?
Yeah, I think James has been putting more thought on this than me, but the idea is that we have created internal to our team, our development circle. We also call this contributor platform as project management, Andamio project management. It's the same thing. Contributor platform and Andamio project management is the same thing. Apart from that, we are also building something called course management. And this is where the juicy stuff of learning comes in. So you have SLTs, lessons, and then assignments. So in the course part, we're not asking anyone to commit to learn something. They can learn that on their own. They have the lessons available for them. SLTs are pretty much outlined, right? You know what you're going to learn. The content is there. Go ahead and learn. So like you don't need any commitment on that. But you want to prove, if you want to prove that you have learned it, you know something, then that's where assignments come in. So assignments are related to these lessons that, so the point of assignments are that you know what you went through in the lesson and you are able to complete the assignment, which in turn say that you have learned the lesson. So we are giving the ability to commit to assignments in that sense. So a learner will be able to commit to assignments, and then the course facilitators are going to say, okay, you have completed the assignment. That means you have learned this lesson. So it is not a direct link from SLT to, yes, I've learned at SLT, but SLT that can be measured by an assignment, and that assignment is being recorded in your reputation data or credentials data, I guess. So I guess, yeah, James would look, I think James would like to elaborate on that. He has thought much more in depth on that.
Well, that's the right overview, and it's two separate mechanisms, right? So there's course management and project management, but they're related to each other. A key difference is that there are not financial rewards connected to learning achievement directly, right? But the record of learning achievement can always serve as a prerequisite to other things. For example, it can be a prerequisite to further learning, staying on the course side, or that achievement of learning can be a prerequisite to contribution opportunities on the project side. And so all of it combines, right? So, hey, I already have skills, I want to contribute. Great, come on, do it. Oh, I don't have those skills, but I'd like to be able to contribute. Okay, go over to the course, learn what you need to do, achieve the prerequisites, now become a contributor.
Yeah, well, this is great. This is absolutely great. It's one step closer to that. Nori would get this, you know, that talent tree, that World of Warcraft role-playing game talent tree, where there's like all these different opportunities, all these courses that you can take, and once you fill up this, then you get you know, access to this path or to that path. And I think they even had like certain items that you had to hold in order to get into these different spots. Yeah, yeah, this has been a wonderful demo.
Nice job.
Yeah, I can really see the credential that you come off the back of a learning module project, giving you the ability to then contribute to the next. or the maintenance, like Roberto was saying at the beginning, or the updating, the next iteration of the course. And I really like that whole circular thing. The student becomes the master, and the master then goes on to create more students or teach more students. And
Yeah.
the
You're
way
starting to sound like Professor Mix when you say that.
Yeah, it's a circle of life. There's all sorts of cliches we can pump into this. It's really good. Excellent demo as well. Thanks, Nelson. Get a far better grasp of it all now. I was curious as to like the terminology around project, but I guess it's because it is so much more than just a. I like the clarification from bounty to a project, and a project is so much more than just a task. You're not just fulfilling something. You're actually saying, "I am capable. I am a contributor. I've earned a credential to be able to say that I can pick this up, and then I can apply myself to delivering on, using a whole load of different skills to deliver on this particular project. And that can then build, multiple people are needed to fulfill a project to create a whole course. Really good. The one thing I was thinking about, so the contributor tokens themselves really are credentials. So if you've proved yourself able to do something on another Andamio course, then that gives you then the credential to contribute, pick up some earning from future courses or developing a future courses. So will we have the ability to have multi-token gating, as it were? So you can pick up this project if you've got the copywriting contributor token and the JavaScript contributor token. So you think, nice. Yeah, so really, really flexible Andamio scaffold for building out some really complex environments. I like it a lot. Really good. Amazing. And very cool to see mesh in action as well. Thank you so much.
Nelson, you were keeping it close to your chest about exactly what the structure of this presentation was going to be, and that was just a joy. Really, really beautifully orchestrated. Thank you again.
And really brave to do it live like that.
Amen. Well, I know we're over time, but thanks all for being here, learning this stuff with us, and we're excited to keep, this is valuable for me, and hopefully others here, because it gives us a chance to kind of practice writing documentation. As I was watching Nelson, I was like, oh, okay, nice. What he just said right there, that's going to help us with the docs and what we have to explain. And so this exercise is just awesome. I'm hooked. And so thank you for doing it that way. And hopefully we can play around with this again. Next week, we'll be doing a dive into Mesh PBL, which is being built on Andamio, and in a similar way is trying to empower people to be able to contribute to either projects that are building with Mesh or to further contributions to the Mesh protocol or the Mesh library, sorry. And then the week after that, we've got the Marlowe team here, and we can maybe bring what we've been thinking about here into some conversations about how do we teach people to use Marlowe. So that should be fun. Mix, last words.
Actually, I want to ask a question. Do we want to have an idea of in Gimbalabs like a last fund as well? Do we have a plan for that or no?
There's not currently a plan, but that would be fun.
Okay. Great.
Yeah, let's think about that.
Cool, y'all.
All right. Till next time. See you soon.